Someone out there is upset because they can't have you anymore. They have grown monster as a result of their wrath, and they are now assaulting and injuring anybody who stands in their way. They're unstable and destructive. They feel they possess, own, and control you. Nonetheless, you manage to flee. Now that they can see your accomplishment from afar, it is driving them over the brink. You don't have to endure their fury while they devolve into chaos. You keep getting up. You have that kind of authority, even though they can now vent whenever they want. The fact that they cannot have you remains the greatest punishment for them. Someone from your history is now plummeting into a hole they have dug for themselves. While walking through this world, keep your head held high. Their minds are fogged with resentment. Their hands tremble with rage, and their very hearts twist as they realize they will never be able to have you back. Remember the ways they duped you? The deliberate mental tricks are designed to keep you little. The patience tests that pushed you to your limits, as well as the manipulative methods designed to make you doubt your worth, attractiveness, and divine purpose as their emotional prisoner, source of energy and ownership. You were supposed to be locked in that loop eternally, but a miracle happened. You changed. You outgrew their limited world, whilst they clung desperately to archaic power systems. You outgrew the barriers they sought to put around your soul. The world conspired to your benefit. The universe has opened doorways. They could never enter or unlock universes. They could never really comprehend. Now witness them agitated, outraged, and mad. Their pride lies in broken fragments under their feet. They have militarized their wounded ego, prioritizing disorder over progress, destruction over healing, and monstrosity above humanity, rather than picking up the parts and reassembling something authentic. Don't be deceived. You don't have to shoulder this weight. Your brightness has nothing to do with their descent into darkness. You just showed what actual power looks like. They cannot accept the ability to leave, to choose peace, or to value your wonderful trip. They had no clue you would completely sever the cords that had previously bound you. They didn't see it coming. They expected begging. They anticipated letters of yearning. They rehearsed how they would make you earn their forgiveness in preparation of your inevitable return. However, when you construct your own tale, the screenplay they made for you burns to ashes. They are now in free form, grasping at anybody who stands in their way in an effort to reclaim their feeling of power and control. The false throne they built for themselves in the realm of your heart has crumbled under them. Observe how they bounce about from relationship to relationship and person to person in an effort to reclaim what they lost with you. These new partnerships are built on desperation rather than love or respect. Every new face uses a temporary bandage to conceal the underlying hole left by your absence. They use, discard, and eat souls like fast food, never satisfied and constantly wanting more. Each day, their acts grow more casual, making rash judgments and taking medicines to relieve pain. Dangerous contacts with strangers who are ignorant of their proclivities, as well as financially risky judgments. Innocent individuals are trapped in the destruction as they disintegrate and the blast radius expands. The worst part is that they are well aware of what they are doing. This is revolt against the unavoidable consequences of losing you, not ignorance. Every act of selflessness communicates to the cosmos, "See what you made me do," as if your progress somehow contributed to their downfall, as if your peace justified their mayhem, as if your fundamental freedom to make your own judgments violated natural rules. It is an absolute delusion. Your silence speaks volumes as they shout into the abyss in your reality. You retain your composure. They create crises to draw you back into their story. They transmit messages intended to elicit pity and spread misinformation in order to pull you away from your safe haven. However, you cannot modify a mountain against the ferocious winds. You may insult them, but their lack of reaction is more than that. You did not get here by chance. You were guided. If something in your soul is stirring, do not dismiss it. Tap join to get access to unique information, prophetic insights, and a community of purpose-driven individuals. This is not just a membership. It's time for you to come into harmony. Take the steps necessary to become the person you were meant to be. Welcome to the Chosen. They can defend themselves from direct assaults, dispute allegations, and respond to words. But they are powerless in the face of your silence and complete indifference. They fight to the death against opponents that never show up for battle, flailing wildly at ghosts. They wanted to see you pursue. They dreamed of you asking for another chance. They hoped to witness your reaction to their provocations, which would show that they were still on your mind. Instead, without looking back, you just turned and went. Continue on with your adventure. Instead, use this wake-up call to contemplate. There is no greater loss for someone who built their identity on dominating yours. They've chosen the cowardly approach of hurting everybody they can find since they can't harm you. New partners are creating a wasteland of shattered souls as they cope with unresolved rage. Friends experiencing violent outbursts, family members becoming emotional punching bags, and colleagues navigating their fluctuating moods, all because they are unwilling to accept the simple reality that you are not their own. The update is completed. The beast they held on a leash has escaped, and what was previously hidden beneath adorable looks and cunning gestures is now at large. From a distance, you may see that the same characteristics that turned you off are now 10 times more obvious. Their manipulation methods have evolved in order to survive. Seeing them in action is analogous to seeing a predator adapt to changing situations. The victim narratives get increasingly complicated. Because they failed to handle their own recovery, the triangulation becomes more complex, the gaslighting becomes more sophisticated, and the love bombing becomes more severe with new targets. They have become specialists in emotional warfare. Each new connection has just one function: temporary validation. To them, these souls are just mirrors, reflecting back the image of power and control that they so badly want. They aren't individuals. However, mirrors crack under stress, causing the reflection to alter, and when these new persons are unable to provide the perfect image, they are put away, perplexed, and wounded by the abandonment whiplash. They pose a greater risk to themselves than they do to others. They rush on mindlessly, destroying bridges behind them. Their professional reputations suffer when their masks slip off in public. Their financial stability suffers as a result of hasty decisions, and their physical health deteriorates as stress hormones flood their system. For what end are they sacrificing their whole future for the fleeting pleasure of powerful sensations in order to persuade themselves that they have moved on and represent to the outer world that they are unaffected? To show that they don't need you. These illusions are as flimsy as paper, and the universe sees through them. Each act of destruction carves deeper into their karma, resulting in responsibilities that must eventually be met. It is impossible to outrun natural laws. The cosmic scales need perfect equilibrium. What goes around comes around. They have been operating as if they are immune to these universal principles, as if they are the only ones capable of avoiding the energy they emit into the world. But now that the universe has been monitoring, chronicling, and calculating the accounts, everyone they've used to replace you has turned against them as a witness. As patterns emerge, the group that previously supported them becomes aware of the dangers they bring. Stories line up, and warnings spread via social connections. "Take care of that one," people muttered. "They're not as they seem." They have rejected all warnings. The mild prods encourage improved behavior. The little setbacks that might have altered their course. The friends that dared to tell the truth. Epiphanies were quickly buried by denial, assuming that human will could win over cosmic rule. They have pushed on in defiant defiance, doomed, arrogant, and stupid. See how what used to benefit them is now working against them. Stories that previously elicited sympathy now seem like manipulative routines. The intensity that once seemed like feeling has transformed into an unhealthy fixation. The charm that opens doors is suddenly raising red flags. People are waking up, seeing clearly, and departing as the mask slips more often, showing glimpses of the chaos below. If your heart is overflowing with God's blessings, let that love radiate. Click the super thank you button and donate $100 or more to sow seeds of faith that will touch countless lives. Your giving exemplifies His richness. Be a channel for His grace, and watch His kingdom grow through you. This is just the natural order expressing itself. It is neither retaliatory nor punitive. Actions have repercussions. Decisions determine destiny, and energy returns to its source. The universe just allows the unavoidable repercussions of their actions to fully emerge, and the effects are devastating, without having to intervene and stop them. So how about you? As they grapple with reality, you are about to enter an entirely other dimension of existence. There is no more notable disparity. Their pandemonium highlights your tranquility. Their ruin demonstrates your inventiveness, and their stagnation emphasizes your progress. You have done the true job, not the short-term distraction they use to numb their sadness or the theatrical recovery they show on social media. After reviewing your routines and addressing your shadows, you've forgiven yourself for staying too long. You have regained the energy that was earlier sapped by their demands. You have recovered your strength, piece by precious piece. The universe recognizes this genuine healing. The doors open. Naturally, every day, synchronistic events occur. Resources arrive at the appropriate moment, and people enter your life who really want to help you improve. Not because they need anything from you, but because they sense your light and want to follow it. Most importantly, you have established boundaries that people who previously drained you cannot breach. Instead of absorbing everyone's unhappiness, your energy field now acts as a selective filter, allowing only suitable vibrations to pass through. You've perfected the sacred art of discernment, knowing who belongs in your company and who should keep out of your well-kept area. This is self-preservation, not selfishness. This is self-respect. Every soul has the divine right to protect its sacred purpose against those who would corrupt it for selfish gain. Allow yourself to be painfully aware that they cannot have you right now. Not in this lifetime. Never again. The door hasn't just closed, it's fully gone. There is no path back to you on any level of reality. You've surpassed their capacities, hitting frequencies they can't attain without putting in the effort they continually avoid. They bore the brunt of their rage over this reality. They have their own evenings of anger. Their desperate attempts to fill the void you left are a reflection of their choices rather than your worth. You are not responsible for their emotions or emotional control. You do not need to decrease your light, since they will not be cured of their darkness if they consume all of their energy. Battling ghosts. The cosmos discreetly manages what you no longer need to deal with. Divine timing and cosmic justice do not need your support or monitoring. Your testimony has no influence on the natural consequences. Universal law takes care of the rest, allowing you to focus entirely on building the life you really deserve. They thought they could break you, but now look at what has happened. They are the ones who are coming apart, in desperate need of protection and haunted by the memories of what might have been. Your peaceful absence, rather than your vengeful actions, has completely reversed the power dynamic they intended to establish. The most crucial lesson is obvious to everyone who can see it. You were never under their power or ownership. You were never a resource to be depleted or a thing to be possessed. You were always a separate entity, just traveling with them on a temporary basis. You used your cosmic right to continue going alone, even if it was no longer in your best interests. Simply stop there, you. It's okay if you don't sense this message. Go on. This message is not for everyone. Those who do not fit in, those who see through the mask, those who have been persuaded to be quiet, settle, and conform. But no nice person will realize that this is for them. Ordinary things don't pique their attention if they feel it deep down. They are the light in the darkness, the storm that destroys illusions, the untouchable, unstoppable, and unshakable. They are not here to follow the rules of others. They are on their own course, while everyone else is running in circles. If they need to, they are doing it because it is who they are, not to want attention or acceptance. If this calls to you, it may be time to find your tribe, individuals who transform what was meant to damage them into something beautiful. To those who are wise yet cannot be taught, but it must be gained. Blessed by his favor, click super. Thank you, and please consider giving $100 or more to help spread his light. Your contribution sows seeds that develop his kingdom. Be the blessing. This quick, catastrophic insight reveals the monster that has consumed their genuine selves during occasional moments of honesty. They know they've lost not just you, but also their connection to their higher selves. While the portions of them designed for control and survival have hyperatrophied, The parts capable of real love have weakened. They've been exaggerated to the point that they resemble caricatures of their worst characteristics. These views of the reality are so awful that they cannot be sustained. They quickly go back to denial, projection, and blame. However, something has changed. An irrepressible seed of awareness has been planted. The uncomfortable understanding that they created this reality is concealed underneath the chaos and disaster. They went this way. They turned down every opportunity to develop. Finally, the monster that harms others causes them further agony. Every outburst increasingly distances their spirit from the heavenly link. Every trick distances them from genuine connections, and each new victim adds to the weight of their karmic load. They are the products of their own creation, both the offender and the victim. This understanding haunts them like a predator, waiting for an opportunity to strike with the truth. And as distractions fade and masks fall off in the darkness of night, they are unable to alter who they have become. Their most hated opponent is the understanding that they are solely responsible for their horrible transformation. There is much more to your story than one success. Others involved in such circumstances begin to pay notice. As you stand solid in your newfound power, your limits become blueprints. Your serenity becomes a possibility, and your bravery becomes contagious. People who are still engaged with the same person who used to drain you start to question their credibility. It is hard to overlook the cognitive dissonance generated by the disparity between your freedom and their continuous suffering. Others who are involved in entirely different circumstances experience the ripple effect of your shift. Courageous seeds grow in healthy soil. Questions develop that cannot be ignored, and analogies emerge that reveal harsh facts without using words. Your energy says a lot. Your manner communicates freedom to those who are still seeking it. Your very life serves as evidence that, despite difficult decisions, there is hope for healing, escape, and peace. Generational patterns are broken in this manner, not via large-scale movements, but by individual souls reclaiming their power and showing others what is possible. Your private decision sparks public healing. Your inward journey creates an exterior revolution. Your personal limit turns into a collective uprising. Meanwhile, the person who couldn't have you is horrified by the unfolding circumstances. They have lost you, but they are also losing control over other individuals. Their control tactics are ineffectual against enlightened awareness. Their manipulative toolset becomes obsolete in the face of collective strength and shared knowledge, and their power base weakens as awareness expands. In their last moments, they convince themselves that they can make things better. They believe they can get you back. They think they can return to the circumstance in which they had all the cards. All they need is the right strategy, the right words, and the perfect approach to break through your newly guarded limits. These thoughts reflect a fundamental misunderstanding of what has happened. They still believe they can learn the rules of the game. They still see you as a treasure that they can win back via cleverness. They still think that with the right amount of pressure and persuasion, they can reverse your development. They are unable to recognize that the person they are seeking for is no longer present. Through painful insight and purposeful development, the version of yourself that agreed to their treatment has evolved. They can no longer contact the person they know. The person who questioned your perspective, questioned your worth, and minimized your desires in order to preserve peace. They strain themselves searching for a memory, chasing a ghost. Every deception method they use conflicts with the solid foundation of your new reality. Your increased awareness serves as an unbreakable barrier to any attempts to restore this link. Every effort to evoke your guilt or sympathy is foiled by your unshakable self-awareness. They make it clearer why you left. The more urgently they chase you, the more you want to leave because of the actions they employ to reclaim you. Even when their disturbance diminishes from your life, they continue to use tactics that distance you from them. So they're not aware of the irony. The hole created by their absence is filled with divine order. Because nature despises a vacuum, the universe works quickly to fill the space with exactly what your soul has been seeking for. Confusion is replaced with clarity. When their opposing words and actions do not confuse your judgment, you can view truth clearly. Decisions that used to freeze you with fear now flow effortlessly from your restored intuition. Situations that were impossible to understand before now seem wonderfully simple. Manipulative ties are substituted by real relationships. You meet new people who truly appreciate you, adore you honestly, and communicate freely. These connections boost your energy. Instead of diminishing it, they brighten rather than dim it. They flourish naturally in an environment of mutual respect and do not need constant maintenance. Emotional exhaustion is replaced with creative vitality. The energy that was formerly focused on regulating their chaotic emotions is now channeled into activities that highlight your unique expertise. Ideas that had been latent throughout your imprisonment burst with unrestrained power. Passions were formerly dismissed as impractical, but now get your whole attention and blossom under your careful supervision. Frustrating delays are replaced with heavenly timing. Your ultimate good is perfectly matched with the universe's timetable. Opportunities arrive when you are ready for them. Obstacles arrive when you have the strength to overcome them, while blessings emerge when their impact is greatest. Constant concern is replaced with inner calm. A profound silence that becomes your new normal replaces the hypervigilance that was formerly required to cope with their disruptive presence. Your attention shifts from looking for potential triggers to focusing on the present moment. Your nervous system, now persuaded that you are secure, relaxes its vigilant watch duty. One bold decision, leaving them behind, is the root of all of this. Every blessing, as this cosmic drama draws to an end, the only cost of entering this new world was your desire to value yourself more than others. The final truth becomes starkly apparent. Your calm is changing you, while their wrath is changing them. Two souls that were formerly strolling together are now going different ways. One is bound toward creation, the other for devastation. They have genuinely become monsters in their wrath over not having you harm everybody who goes in their path. However, this beast is really a paper tiger, which is tough on the exterior but frail on the inside. Two individuals who are still afraid may find its scream terrifying, but to you it sounds more desperate and irrelevant to your future. Allow them to feel furious about things they can't change. Allow them to hurt anybody who is foolish enough to approach. Allow them to transform into what they said they would protect you against. You no longer share their story. Their choices no longer influence your reality, and their energy no longer pervades your space. You've fully departed the battlefield. You build foundations as they fight shadows. You promote progress while they undermine connections, and you co-create the future while they cling to the past. While you ascend to higher frequencies of opportunity, peace, and purpose, they remain caught in low levels of wrath, retribution, and resentment. Always remember that people are unhappy because you finally accomplished something right, not because you did anything wrong. They're upset because you finally accomplished something for yourself, not because you let them down, not because of your aggression, but because of your honesty. They're revealing themselves as the monsters they've always been. The cosmos has finally given full cosmic justice. They cannot own you, not your energy, attention, future, or even a single moment of anxiety. You've transformed into the one thing that ego can't keep completely, irreversibly, and forever out of reach. And your ultimate independence is based on this unreliability. The path continues without, beyond, despite, and because of them. You've reached a higher level. The chapter concludes. The lesson is incorporated. The soul expands.